In the previous part, we learned about using Google Colab, and we saw that whether we use Google Colab or local, I mean Jupyter Notebook on local, they're pretty much the same thing, but Google Colab provides us an additional benefit of using the Google Cloud for computations. So now from here onwards, I'm going to use Google Colab directly. And now we are gonna set ourselves up with the data set that we are going to use in the rest of this series of lectures. The instructions are given in this notebook file setup data. I renamed the file you have seen before setup with setup data because this part will only talk about setting the data. Before I go forward, I'll get inside the data directory and delete the data set I already have, and we'll start over from scratch. If you do not have a data directory, go ahead and make one. And now let's open setup data notebook and start working. By the way, this puppy you see here and now a kitty, this is something Google Colab provides you. If you want company, you can come here to the settings and go to miscellaneous and turn on corgi mode for doggies and kitty mode for kitties. Anyway, coming back, let's see how we can get the data. The steps are pretty straightforward. In step 1, you have to follow this link. In this link, you have to provide your email address. The link to the data will be sent to your email address, so make sure your email ID is correct. And when I press submit, so in a few seconds, I will get an email which will have the link to the data. The link to the data is here. Let me open. Here is a preview of the data. Since we have a time series data, we have a time column. And if you look closely, the time is 2 minutes apart. This is a 2-minute frequency data. Then the column sheet break is essentially our response variable. It's a binary column 0 or 1. 0 means the process is going normal and 1 means a sheet break. Followed by a bunch of columns. These columns are predictor variables. Their values are scaled, but the underlying distribution is maintained. And there are a couple of categorical columns around here. This is one categorical column and there's another one at the end. This. Next, we will go through some steps to convert that categorical columns into dummy columns or hot encoded columns. After downloading the data, I am going to copy the data into this data directory. And in a few seconds, the data should be under the Google Drive as well. If you see here, you have the data here. If you don't see it here, refresh and give it a few more seconds, it will come here automatically. And if you do not have your locals synchronized with Google Drive, you can simply drag and drop the data set inside this directory. Now we have the data set available with us. Now we'll go back to our working file, our notebook. We'll start with our traditional ritual of connecting my Google Colab with my Google Drive. My Google Drive got mounted, and when I check, I have the directory as my working directory, so everything went well. Now I load the data, read the data very easily by giving the relative path of the file. As you can see here, I can just say data slash the name of my file, basically the location, the relative location of data followed by the name of the file. Very easy step, just like you would do things normally in your local or server. And then I'm looking at the data frame, and everything looks fine. Now I'm going to do basic set of data pre-processing here, converting the categorical columns into hard encoding columns and replacing the original column with the hard encoded ones. And finally, I replace my response column sheet break with Y. This is just for simplicity in the next steps. And we are done. We will do all these basic steps in implementation of models in each of the following chapters. So you'll find this piece of code at the beginning of each notebook you'll see in this repository.